in most of these cases, these instances barely, forget reaching the courts, they've barely reached a situation of a complaint. If a girl, and I believe it's perhaps, I don't know if there's a right way to say this, but perhaps the parents of the girl are also to be questioned here, to say that if you're not going to stand by your child, if you're going to ask her, adjust kar lo, ghar hai, nibha lo, if you're going to say stuff like that, then there is no outlet left for a girl or a victim in this case to even speak up, to demand justice.
Let me explain to you how the law works here in this area. You have the Dowry Prohibition Act. So there's Section 3, which is the penalty for giving or taking dowry. And this is if any person after the commencement of this act gives or takes or abets the giving or taking of dowry, then shall be punishable, right? So you are not wrong when you say that there's a complication here. There is. However, this, to be fair, provision is very rarely used against the parents. You know, whenever it is used, on the rare occasion it is used against the in-laws who have taken the dowry.
I
right?
see.
However, difficulty is this. The difficulty is that because the provision exists, it's very difficult for the people who have given the dowry to make the complaint.
Yes.
Because then, you know, they are also implicated. So then who's going to make the complaint?
Catch-22, yeah.
So I think the law here is not well designed, and it definitely I would not blame the parents of the girl at this time when she has been murdered in this really brutal way, right? Systemically, though, we also must understand that when, you know, you have parents who are giving money and giving dowry to the other party, they are doing it out of a sense of compulsion, right? Like it's like giving hafta to the neighborhood bullies because you think you have no other option. You are giving hafta, you are giving like a ransom in the hope that your child is going to be kept safe. Yeah. Even in this case, the allegations are, we don't know whether they're true or not, we'll have to see, but widely reported allegations are that they gave a Scorpio SUV.
Yeah, but they wanted a Mercedes. Yeah.
But they wanted a Mercedes, exactly, that they gave a lot, right? So why are they doing this? They're doing this out of a sense that they have no option, right? If they thought that there was this wonderful boy somewhere and they had an option.
I agree with you. That's what I was saying. There's no nice way of saying this because, you know, you understand the situation perhaps in which the parents of the girl are in as well. But Karuna, I want to ask you this. In your experience of having heard of these cases, dealt with these cases, if a young bride today is watching the program right now, can't go to the husband, can't go to the in-laws, can't go to her own parents or even friends who will help, what is the way out for them? What should they be doing as of now?
I think the question is really before that. This question comes prior to that, prior to who the young woman consents to being married to or who the parents decide to marry their child to. And we have to be really clear that this system of ransom, where you are giving good money and putting good money after bad and hoping that it's going to work out well, is never going to work out because you're giving money to criminals. So, okay, so the girl, by definition, they are criminals, right? So you are not guaranteeing that there's no guarantee that your child is going to be murdered, thankfully. But there is a guarantee that this kind of money you are giving is going to be associated with the value of this girl.
Yeah.
And that the girl marrying this person is not enough. So therefore, you're marrying your child to criminals, or you yourself are consenting sometimes to be married to criminals, or people who have that mindset, even if it's posited as gifts or love or whatever. And so therefore, I think being very clear about not doing that and saying that I am going to make sure that this girl is as educated as possible, has a job, you know, any kind of decent work, because look at the labor workforce participation rate today, it's extremely low. It only went up to about 30% when suddenly this government decided to include laborers who were working, not laborers, women who were working on their own fields, of their family fields, right?
Yeah.
That's the Otherwise, it's gone down dramatically from the 90s. So therefore, do not get married to in situations like this. There are people out there who are happy to get married for legitimate reasons, non-criminal reasons, and otherwise
In a good world, love.
otherwise do not get married.
And can I add to that? A lot of times, right in the beginning, when you're about to get married, it doesn't come as a demand. It comes layered with out of love, or something that you would do just to benefit the child. This is for your well-being. It comes wrapped in different shades like these, or this is just the ashirwads that the parents are giving. So be wary of all of these things. It's just conditioning. Ultimately, it is a dowry that is being asked for. So thank you, Karuna, for joining us and laying that out for all our viewers. I really hope even one person caught up in a situation like this can listen to this conversation and perhaps benefit from it. On that note, we are going to slip into a very quick break. Coming up on the other side, our big health story, where we have today a sugar showdown for you. It's festive season, yes, but right before you dive into your next modak or a laddu or a sweet, remember to see what it's actually made of. And no, the substitutes are not as healthy as they look. We'll tell you all about it on the other side of this very quick break.
I choose a world where we dream, and the limit is the sky. And this world is my home where I'm living my best.
Mindfully crafted home decor fabrics. Sansar, a D-Decor brand. Live consciously.
They don't make headlines, they make India. The real unicorns of India don't chase valuation, they create value. These are the stories of those who don't just do business, they build India. This Independence Month, India Today celebrates the micro-moguls of India. Quiet ambition, local impact, national change. The untold stories of grassroots entrepreneurs quietly shaping a rising India. India Today, the micro-moguls of India. Subscribe now at subscriptions.indiatoday.in and read their full stories.
Welcome back. It's time for our health story of the day. Now, Ganpati is here and so are the modaks, the laddus and the sweets. But before you dive head first into the next festive treat, have you ever stopped to wonder, are your healthy sweeteners really healthy? There's brown sugar, there's jaggery, honey, stevia. Are they truly better for you or just sugar in disguise? Our next explainer will bring you science-backed breakdown of what's inside that sugar substitute, what these sweeteners do to your body, and even what WHO has warned us all about when it comes to sweeteners. Get ready because this is the sugar showdown, because festive season is here and your sweet tooth deserves the truth. Brown sugar, jaggery, honey, stevia, and now the latest, monk fruit. Before you fall for any sugar substitute thinking it's healthy, watch this video till the end. We will give you science-backed comparison of all sugar substitutes. What are the core ingredients? What is the health impact? And then our final verdict. But first, let's understand some basics on sugar. Now, if you thought any one kind of sugar was healthy, you are wrong. There is no healthy sugar. Honey and jaggery are still sugar. Your body treats them like sugar. FDA even counts syrups and honey as added sugar on their labels. Fructose as a sugar substitute isn't a free lunch, it's still sugar. In fact, WHO goes on to say in both adults and children, the intake of sugar should be reduced to less than 10% of the total energy intake. Meaning, WHO is not asking you to go off sugar. छोड़ने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. Cancelling any food out of your system isn't wise. It's saying limit it. For health benefits, it's advised to in fact reduce sugar intake to below 5% of your total energy. What does this mean? This means roughly 25 grams of sugar in a day. That translates into 6 teaspoons. In fact, to quote them, they go on to say that nutritionally, people don't need any sugar in their diet at all. Having understood that, let's now get into what science has to say on sugar contenders. This is the sugar showdown. Number 1, table sugar. White sugar, brown sugar, pink sugar, they're all the same. They're made with 50% glucose, 50% fructose, bonded together actually. This means that excess intake raises your risk in terms of extra calories consumed. A major source of these are found in sugary drinks, in your desserts as well. Remember, WHO has capped free sugar to just about 50 grams a day, and that's also on the higher side. So the verdict here is minimize. It's not your sole driver of energy. Let's look at honey next. The core ingredient here is 80% carbohydrates, which means mostly fructose, glucose. 15 to 70% is water and tiny amounts of bioactives and antioxidants. But any antioxidant edge is negligible at real-world portions. Metabolically, it's sugar. The labeling is also counted as added sugar in your nutrition facts. Yes, it's flavorful, but not a healthier option at all. Let's look at another popular substitute, jaggery. The core ingredient here is unrefined non-centrifugal sugar from cane or palm. Predominantly, it's sucrose with very small amounts of minerals. The trace minerals don't offset the glycemic or caloric load and falls under free sugar to limit. Not a health upgrade over sugar at all. Next, let's look at options that are often termed under sugar-free, diet, zero-cal. Now, what does it have? The simple sugar in products is often appeared as high fructose corn syrup. It's called HFCS. commonly 42 or 55% still fructose. Doesn't prevent problems of excess sugar intake, liquid sugars, and strongly linked to overconsumption as well. The WHO guidelines targets all free sugars, not just sucrose. The verdict here is not advisable as a healthier replacement. Next, let's look at the very popular stevia. The core ingredient here is, of course, extracted from the leaves of the stevia plant. It contains the steviol glycosides, which are about 200 to 300 times sweeter than sugar. Virtually 0 calories per serving, doesn't raise blood sugar or insulin levels. It is not counted as sugar on FDA labels, but WHO still advises against it to manage weight or prevent diseases. The tricky detail here is that many stevia products on the market are not pure. They are blended with different other kinds of chemicals like dextrose, etc. So you've got to read the ingredient list very carefully. The verdict here is it is acceptable in small amounts, but don't use it as a license to oversweeten your diet. And then it's the new kid on the block, monk fruit. The core ingredient here, again extracted from a fruit. It's 150 to 250 times sweeter than sugar, so only tiny amounts are used. Again, not counted as sugar, very low or no calories per serving used, doesn't add to sugar grams. But remember, even the WHO recommends not using non-sugar sweeteners to control your body weight or reduce the NCD risk. The tricky part here again remains that some of the labels blend it and they don't really tell you about it, so you've got to be careful of where you're sourcing your monk sugar from. In fact, the verdict here is it tastes even better than stevia. But again, it has to be used in moderation, not a magic bullet. So, which is the healthiest? Well, if you must add sweetness, then a tiny amount of pure monk fruit or stevia beats sugar, honey, jaggery, fructose at all levels. But don't rely on any sweetener, natural or artificial, to manage weight or protect against any disease. Even WHO explicitly advises against that strategy. The real win? Training your palate down and cutting total sweetness. Not just in your tea or coffee, but everything else you might even not realize you're having, which is sugar-loaded. From the harmless-looking cola at lunch to the mithai box getting passed around at work, sugar sneaks into our diets far more than we think. Sauces, packaged snacks, healthy drinks so-called, even breakfast cereal, they all add up to your sugar intake. And remember, sugar intake matters, even if you're not a diabetic. Our bodies, which work tirelessly for us, deserve better. So here's to the best drink your body actually needs. Just a glass of water. To good health and a sweeter life that isn't sugar-loaded. Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor for India Today. All right, I don't want to be a buzzkill here to everybody watching this right now and has a sweet tooth. We are not saying that all sugar is poison. We are not saying that you should just ban sugar altogether. We are saying moderate it and importantly, bring your palate of having sugar cravings actually down. To talk to us a little bit more about that, we've got Suman Agarwal, founder of Self-Care by Suman Nutritionist. She's also the author of books Unjunked and Super Kids. Also with us is Rohan Sehgal. He's the creator of Sugar Spike Show. Now, Rohan is famous as being the guy who tests his sugar spike after every food that he consumes. He's using his body as an experiment, has a lot of insights on what actually spikes your glucose levels. And a lot of times, the culprits are hidden. You don't even realize they have so much of sugar. So let me give the first word to Suman Agarwal. Then Suman, it's very interesting how people think that मैं तो फीकी चाय पीता हूँ. I don't use sugar at all. Or people who say कि मैं तो जी मिठाई मैंने छोड़ दी है. But even they don't realize that how sugar is sort of wolfed in, itself in different forms and different food items and is in your kitchen, on your plate without you realizing it at all. Could you name a few of these dishes for us which have sort of taken you off guard as well when your clients brought it up to you?
Yeah, Sonal. So I mostly hear, oh, have given up sugar in my tea, coffee. But they definitely had that sugar-free date mithai. They will
Yeah.
go for that. Then they will always have like a cake which is made with orange juice. So they're trying to tell themselves that they're not having any sugar, or they'll have plate full of fruits, which is fructose. So this is my debate with every client in the same manner that your brain does not get tricked because it needs that little bit sugar if you have taken it from childhood. But if you don't take it from young age, then your palate does not want it. Or as you said, that they have to train the palate to bring the sugar requirement down instead of having with every meal, bring it down to maybe a cup of tea, coffee with little sugar. As you mentioned, 5% is also according to me more. What a person should do is max 2 teaspoons of sugar, jaggery, honey, date, etc. And they should never cross this two teaspoon rule. That will control their desire to have desserts or in form of chocolates, etc. And they can lead a healthy life without diabetes, PCOS, insulin resistance. Everything comes with that, obesity. So
Yeah.
that is my thumb rule. But if someone wants to give up sugar completely in every form, which is ketchup and syrups and honey and jaggery and desserts, and they should completely give it up. It takes your body or your palate 40 days to train. And after 40 days, your requirement for sugar or the desire for sugar goes down. So
Right.
that's what is.
You know, a lot of people have not realized what Suman has just said. She's quietly slid in the issue of even fruits being fructose and even fruits adding to sugar. So let me bring in Rohan on this one. Rohan, have you tried fruits and what is it doing to your glucometer?
No, absolutely. I could not agree more. And, before I say anything, I'm not a medical professional, nor am I diabetic, but I was so concerned with all this news on, how sugar is in everything. I had to do a fruit series. And you'll be surprised. I'll give an example. A fruit like lychee had spiked my blood sugar levels more than a can of Coke, a 300 ml can of Coke. So it's not like,
Wow.
she's absolutely right. Just because it's sugar in the form of fructose, it doesn't mean anything. Sugar, is sugar.
Right. But then how are we supposed to consume fruits, Suman? It's great. It's a great source of different vitamins and minerals in our body. How are we supposed to, what is the right way to consume fruits then?
This is one whenever I go on internet or Instagram and say about fruits, that worst time to have fruits is empty stomach because it really spikes up your sugar because it is absorbed in your blood immediately. So it increases your chances of insulin resistant, diabetes, and many other issues. The best time to have fruits would be immediately after a meal, which is of course balanced with protein, fat, carbs, and fiber, which are macros, so that
Yeah.
your sugar spikes are as it is low. And if you have a little
So then,
fruit, it's
then your fruit becomes your dessert in a way, a replacement of your dessert.
And there are certain fruit which are low on glycemic index, which has soluble fiber like apple, pear, pomegranate, guava. So including those fruits which are low on glycemic index, plus dragon fruit, cherry, strawberry, oranges are all low on glycemic. Every other fruit, like especially for diabetics, they ask me, can I have papita? I said, no, papaya is very high in sugar.
Oh,
So yeah,
wow.
eating the fruits which are low in GI is better.
Right. Rohan, what has been your experience with monk fruit?
Well, I was curious about all these sweeteners that you mentioned in your introduction. And what I found, so I added all these sweeteners to tea. And I found that white sugar, brown sugar, honey, gourd all gave similar results. So it was slightly disappointing, but it is what it is. But yes, calorie-free sweeteners like stevia and monk fruit, they did not give me a sugar spike. It was equivalent to having tea without sugar.
Oh, and compared to stevia and monk fruit, since I tried both as a way of research, actually monk fruit comes closer to the taste of sugar, while stevia still tastes a little artificial on the palate. But Rohan, what has been your biggest surprise in understanding glucose spikes? What food item really got you thinking, oh my God, I did not think this would spike my blood sugar?
I mean, since we're on the subject, fruits were truly shocking for me. I could not believe that certain fruits that I've grown up having are spiking sugar levels as much as desserts because they're pure sugar. And from my experiments, I've found that anything that has just simple sugar and nothing else is just terrible for blood sugar. And absolutely, and pairing it, I'll give you a simple example. When I had lychees on their own, they had given me a very high sugar spike. But when I had them after a meal as dessert, the spike got cut down to 1/3. That's a 66% reduction in my personal case. So that was absolutely, a stunning discovery for myself.
Right. Suman, but, we are in midst of the festival season just kicking in. A lot of people are going to say that this is the latest fad. There was a time when I was growing up, ghee was the problem. And now when my child is growing up, sugar is the problem. These things have a way of evolving as we go. But what is the science here? Agar a festivals hai, ek modak khana hai, how do you limit yourself? What is the right way then to consume, in moderation at least?
I tell always that even if you have to have a dessert, make sure it has the right fat. Like our Indian mithais, like almond or pishta or kaju, the modaks made out of those, okay, will still spike your sugar lesser than having any dessert which is made with pure sugar and flour, like wheat modak, the churma modak, etc. They still spike your sugar more. Or having the, besan ka modak, besan laddu. So those will spike lesser. And having maximum a modak which is not more than 15 to 20 gram a day is fine. But everyone seeing the kind of life we live, we need to limit our desserts intake in no matter what. So having like a small, like modaks are made small, which fits in your palm and only one in a day, and which is not more than 20 grams, we should do the trick, because 20 grams will finally give you the calorific value between 80 to 110. That's all, which you can manage, of course.
Yeah, imagine going to a mithai wala and saying 20 gram. I think that's not going to happen. So you will have to sort of make those things at home and ensure that you're doing it the right way. Sorry, go ahead.
No, so what happened? I see the size of desserts. All these years have been seeing, I'm from Calcutta. So it is always intriguing for me to make a mithai, which is low in calorie. And so I've made my own brand of mishta because of this, where the mithai is just 20 grams or 15 grams. And it has worked like, it does not, like, it satisfies your craving. At the same time, it gives you all the goodness. And so there are 20 gram mithais available. Once you go, modaks are available in 20 or 15 grams, in fact. In outside.
Right. Last question then, Rohan, what is your go-to? When you want that little sweet, but you don't want a glucose spike, what are you going for?
I mean, to be very honest, it's a losing battle. I don't think there's anything that exists which is sweet, which will satisfy me, which will not give me a spike. So all I try to do it is try and not do it every day, so that once in a while when I do it, I at least, it satisfies my desires,
That's not a bad way to look at it as well. I think for me, that's jalebi. I'm a very UP girl that way, that every time that happens, I cannot. But then I tell myself that it's going to happen at the end of the meal. It'll happen in a small portion, and it'll happen that one time in a week. But like I said, a lot of people are going to be like, stop being a spoiler for all the festive season. Well, our job is to bring the right information to you. The rest is your call. On that note, Suman, and thank you so much for joining us over there. All right, moving on to the next story that we're tracking. US President Donald Trump is back in the spotlight, this time for visible bruises on his hand. Pictures from his meeting with South Korea's president showed a dark patch fueling health concerns and even online chatter. The White House has downplayed the speculation, citing Trump's chronic venous insufficiency, a common condition they say people over 70 face. But is that really the case? Here's a look.
US President Donald Trump is back in the headlines, this time not for his words or tariffs, but for the bruises he's carrying. A dark black and blue patch was visible on US President Donald Trump's hand after he sat with South Korean President Lee Jae-myung in the Oval Office on Monday. This came just days after Trump's hand appeared to be covered with mismatched makeup during another public appearance, fueling chatter about what exactly the president might be suffering. Last week too, Trump was spotted flashing a bruised thumbs up in a photo snapped at Trump National Golf Club in Virginia. The images quickly went viral, sparking health concerns and speculation about their cause. Meanwhile, the White House downplayed the concern.
Recent photos of the president have shown minor bruising on the back of his hand. This is consistent with minor soft tissue irritation from frequent handshaking and the use of aspirin, which is taken as part of a standard cardiovascular prevention regimen. This is a well-known and benign side effect of aspirin therapy. And the president remains in excellent health, which I think all of you witness.
In July, Donald Trump's physician confirmed that he has chronic venous insufficiency, describing it as a common condition, particularly in individuals over the age of 70. This is a medical condition where veins can't effectively send blood back to the heart, causing blood to pool and leading to symptoms like skin changes. Trump's physician denied any threat of a deep vein thrombosis or arterial disease. Bureau Report, India Today.
On to our trend check now. Now, Louis Vuitton is turning heads with their makeup line. The French luxury giant has launched a La Beauté where a single lipstick, guess how much it costs? 22,000 rupees, and an eyeshadow palette for about 25,000 rupees. The line is being hailed by LV as the mother of makeup, but online, it's the mother of all prices. With Hermes and Gucci lipstick costing a third of that amount, many wonder LV's gamble on beauty, will that really work? Especially as global sort of luxury sales are slowing down as well. We get you an India perspective.
McGrath is the creative director behind LV's new beauty line featuring 55 lip shades, 10 lip balms and 8 dramatic eyeshadow palettes. With no item costing less than Rs 15,000, a shopping spree here would not be a casual day out as per netizens, especially in this economy. Refills for these are available at a less painful price point of anything between Rs 6,000 to 9,000. Mind you, this is a substantial elevation from the prices of even the most expensive lip shades in the luxury space right now. An Hermes lipstick costs just $80 or Rs 8,000 in comparison, while Gucci, Prada and Chanel equivalents are just one-third the cost at $50. But will all this fanfare translate into sales? LV is currently facing a steep sales decline of 8% in their core fashion and leather goods category, according to the annual report. Trends also indicate a psychological pause in luxury buying patterns.
With the price point no lipstick has ever seen before, Louis Vuitton is now looking for a clientele that views makeup as collectible art instead. Louis Vuitton is still the world's largest luxury brand. But how much can a brand charge for beauty? Is this a gross misjudgment or simply the start of something new? The debate goes on. With Shreya Srivastav and video journalist Nasir Khan, Bureau Report, India Today.
And finally, it's World Dog Day today, did you know? Recently, we saw the country divided over the dog debate. But no matter which side you're on, really, here's a fun fact about our very own Desi Indies. Now, did you know that our Indian Desi dogs share a 4,000-year-old ancestral connection with Australia's dingoes? These street-smart pups are part of an ancient lineage, perfectly adapted to survive and thrive alongside humans in diverse environments. So, listen to the Supreme Court. Instead of just feeding them outside your door, think about actually giving an indie dog a forever home. Adopt a Desi, love them for life. We leave you with that thought. See you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.